Well, hello there, and welcome to the Santa Monica Pier. It's a great place, isn't it? Great day, too. They're all great. I'm lucky. That's my name. It's true. But really, I'm just lucky to be here. And you're lucky, too. It's fun, isn't it? There's something special about this old pier. Something enchanting.
Hi, I'm Colleen, and I find the pier to be extraordinary.
Hello, I'm Larry. To me, the pier is transformational.
George here. My word for the pier would have to be peaceful.
Hi, I'm Maynard. I'm the bumper car guy.
Hi, I'm Sheila. I'm very organized.
That's my wife. Interesting. My word would have to be interesting.
People. Interesting people.
Lots of interesting people.
It's just really captivating, right? Hey, I'm Pat, how you doing? And the pier is awesome. It is the coolest hangout for me and my buddies.
It's always been cool for artists and activist types too.
And fishermen. Hi, I'm Diana. Let's not forget about the fishermen. And women.
The pier is like home.
Oh yes, I lived here, you know, just above the merry-go-round.
I fished here. Every chance I got.
I worked here. A lot of us worked here.
I fished here and surfed here and worked here. You know, sometimes I even crashed here. Guess you could kind of say I lived here.
We all live here.
It's true. When you really think about it, we all live here.
It's an eyesore, a blight on the fine city of Santa Monica.
Of course, not everyone loves the pier.
I'm City Manager Scott, responsible for all matters of this city, including this pier.
And I am your honorably elected city councilman. That would make me Mr. Scott's esteemed boss.
This old pile of scrap wood is in constant need.
It's a terrible, wasteful financial burden. We should do something about it, Mr. Scott.
What do you propose I do?
Fix it. You're the city manager. It is your job to fix it.
Fix it? You expect me to fix this old pile of scrap like it's...
Some don't see it as being so special, I guess. And that's how we almost lost it. That's right. The Santa Monica Pier was almost destroyed. And these fine folks, along with many, many, many others, they saved the pier. Made for a great story, too, with heroes and villains, cheers and boos. Oh, I love the story of when they saved the pier. Let's tell it, shall we?
Yeah!
Oh, hooray! Oh, you're in for a treat today. We're going to tell you the story of how these people saved the pier. So sit right back and all tell the tale. Now let's see, where does it begin? Where does it? Well, it was all back in 1972, and I know. This is how I best remember it. And it's all got to start at a little cafe on the pier called Al's Kitchen. And a fella who was the mastermind behind it all, a guy by the name of Jack.
Hey! What'd you say about mastermind to save the pier?
Hi, Diana. I was just telling these people here about Jack down at Al's.
And what about me? You gonna tell them about me, or did you forget?
Oh, no, I didn't forget, Diana. It's just
Just
that,
what?
Well, Diana, you never hung out at Al's.
That's right, I didn't.
No, she was always out rallying up the fishermen.
And everyone else who came within earshot.
Yep, that's true. You were always good at that.
And I am a mastermind.
Yes, you are. But I had to start my story somewhere, so I chose Al's. I'll get to your part, I promise.
All right then.
Besides, I know how you like to fish, so I
Are
just thought...
you gonna tell them how I learned to fish?
No, Diana, I'm gonna...
Oh, you've got to! Here, I'll tell it. I'm a better talker than you anyway. Fishing. Now, I love fishing. But do I look like a fisherman? Heck no! I'm a woman. Right? A fisher woman, and don't you forget it. Anyway, like I was saying, I love to fish. But it wasn't always that way. Oh no. I used to come out here just to look out over the ocean, taking all the beauty. It was always peaceful. You know, no matter how busy it got, it was always peaceful. Good times. Anyway, one day I was walking down here minding my own business when this crusty old fisherman, Smokey was his name. Do you remember Smokey?
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Good, here you be him for a minute.
Huh?
Be Smokey. help me tell the story. The people want to see a story, not just hear words.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah.
So he comes up to me and he says,
You want to learn how to fish?
"That's not Smokey." You're gonna learn how to fish?
Right. You want to learn how to fish?
Fish? Me? I ask him. And before I know it, he's got one smelly paw on my shoulder and the other filthy, grimy paw handing me a fishing pole. He turns me out to the water. He helps me cast out maybe 20 feet or so. And then he says,
Now, you wait.
"So I did." And do you know what happened next?
You caught a fish.
No, I did not catch a fish. Not a single bite all day, but let me tell you, I was hooked. Yeah, I know that's a pun, but that's the way it was. There is nothing like the anticipation, the hope, and yet still the peace. And that's what I love about fishing. That's what I love about this pier. And that's why I had to save it. You can continue with your story now, Lucky.
Thanks, Diana. That was Diana. Isn't she something? Now let's see, where were we?
Well, look who it is.
The city manager. Remember him?
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm the guy that he talked about. Hey, Diana, any luck today?
Not even a nibble, but I feel a whopper coming on.
What you doing?
Drawing.
What you drawing?
None of your business.
I see. I was just curious, you know. I respect your secrecy. I always respect an artist.
Artist? Oh, I'm not an artist.
Oh, you don't have to be so modest. Art is very personal.
Well, I wouldn't really call this art. It's just something I'm working on.
Isn't that what art is? Sharing ideas?
Well, this is something different, something more important.
More important than art?
Absolutely, it's the future. It's progress.
Progress. You're kidding me.
I kid you not.
Well, this I've got to see. May I?
I suppose.
Say, that's pretty good. You say you're not an artist?
Oh, well, not by trade.
It's like a floating city, isn't it?
Oh, it's an island.
Yes it is.
It's a paradise.
It's a metropolis.
It's a fantastic man-made island with a floating metropolitan city. Right out there.
Wow. Too bad it'll never work.
Huh?
It would ruin the great ocean view. Nobody wants to look out at a floating city.
Contrarian.
So that's Jack, the guy I was telling you about. He was the manager of this great little greasy spoon on the pier called Al's Kitchen. Now, Al's was the kind of place that didn't look like much on the outside, but once you walked inside, you might hear people talking about art or politics or other intellectual stuff. You might even see some famous people like Tom Hayden or Jane Fonda, Joan Baez, and you might even hear a cantankerous old guy named Bukowski reciting racy poems about lusty women with racy language. The place was owned by a sweet little woman named Joan.
Hello.
Say hello, Joni.
I just did, I think.
Joni was great. Started out as a waitress in her younger years, ended up buying the place.
Order, order.
Ready.
All right, now let's see here. We need 2 eggs scrambled with bacon and... I can't quite read it.
Toast.
Toast. Oh, isn't he amazing? Oh dear, how embarrassing. Oh, toast, please.
Toast.
Thanks again, Larry.
You're welcome.
Aren't you ready to take a break?
I am, thanks.
Has anybody seen today's newspaper?
George, over here.
Sheila, Maynard, I'm glad you're here.
George, you look terrible. Are you feeling all right?
What, you haven't heard the news?
What news?
What news? What? It's the island.
Island?
The 35-acre man-made island. The one that they're going to build right here in the bay.
George, you really must not be feeling well. That's old news.
She's right, buddy. That old island project was shot down by voters years ago.
I'm telling you, it's back. It's right here in the paper. Look, Scott proposes new island plan.
Oh, funny. The other day I was out at the end of the pier and I saw a guy drawing a picture of an island.
And here's the worst of it.
The plan calls for the
Demolition of the Santa Monica Pier.
This is bad.
Okay, let me see that. Oh my god, that's him. That's the guy I saw.
City Manager Perry Scott.
City manager, huh? He sure can draw.
I've been working on this pier for 25 years. They can't just take that away.
We have to stop this.
I'm going to talk to all the pier merchants right away. We've got to fight this. Fight!
We have got to fight this.
Wait a minute. They can't just tear the pier down. Can they?
It seems like it.
I gotta see this.
But how?
Money talks in this town. I'm afraid they can do whatever they want.
No, but how though?
Well, the city owns the pier, or at least half of it.
They don't own my half. I have a lease with Mrs. Newcomb.
She has a lease with the city that expires next summer.
Oh dear. So does mine.
Now, wait a minute. There are ways to fight this sort of thing.
Fight City Hall?
That's a tough fight.
Yes, you can fight City Hall.
She's right. This island plan may or may not happen. For all we know, City Manager Scott is a guy who can paint a pretty picture. The city has to go through a lot of process, so the whole thing's far from a done deal. But I know one thing for absolute certain. If we sit back and do nothing, then the Santa Monica Pier is going to come down.
But why?
Because that's what the city bureaucrats do. And if we don't take a stand against this, then
The pier comes down.
So we have to fight.
What can we do, Jack?
there's always something. It's a man-made island, correct? Surely there must be some environmental concerns. We need some sort of activist group that would take a stand against this artificial intrusion in the bay.
The Sierra Club.
What's the Sierra Club?
They're only the most influential environmental group around. Surely they can help.
Of course.
Great! Do we know anyone that's a member?
Know them. I used to date the chairman of the board. I could call him today.
That's perfect.
What else can we do, Jack?
There are tons of things. Make flyers, picket signs, reach out to the press.
We'll call the newspapers.
I can make up some flyers.
And leave the picket signs to me. I love making picket signs.
This is all fantastic. There's just one thing though.
What's that?
All of this is going to require a lot of money.
Money?
Oh, we can come up with the money, right, guys?
How much?
Oh, looks like we've got a real group of activists here, real friends of the Pier Committee, if you ask me.
Yes, indeed.
And now that we've established a committee, we need to establish a committee chair.
That's a great idea.
I nominate you, Jack.
Oh, I respectfully decline, Sheila. I'm more of a thinker, not a political figure.
Isn't that the same thing?
Not in my book. I nominate Larry.
Me?
Why, sure, you're a bright guy, well-spoken, you've always got your nose in that newspaper. All hands for Chairman Larry.
Chairman Larry!
Chairman Larry!
Chairman Larry! Chairman Larry! Chairman Larry! Save the beer! Save the beer!
And so, we got organized, and the fight began. Jack was like a guiding hand, and Larry his top lieutenant.
Wait a minute. You're not telling them enough.
I'm sorry, Diana, I'm still just getting started. I'll get to your part. I promise.
Yeah, but the island. You're not telling enough. Go ahead, tell them about the island.
Oh, well, sure. The island, it was more than just
It
an
was
island.
this fancy schmancy resort club kind of place for rich folk. City manager Scott and his developer cronies wanted to build a big island out of the remnants of the breakwater. See those jagged rocks out in the bay? Those used to be the breakwater. This used to be a yacht harbor, you know. Haven't you ever seen the famous arch blue neon sign, Santa Monica Yacht Harbor? Anyway, they're going to take those rocks, bring in more rocks, and make a big island with this pricey skyscraper hotel, a convention center, a shopping plaza, and a bunch of other fancy schmancy stuff.
Now, wait a minute there.
Don't you wait a minute, me.
The island will provide more opportunities, more entertainment value, and more much-needed jobs for everyone.
Everyone! It is the best solution
Oh,
for
sure.
everyone.
Sure, they said there'd be better fishing too, but that island might as well have had no trespassing signs all over it. Regular folk, fishing folk, and ordinary folk, we just weren't going to be invited to the party, know what I mean?
She's right.
Of course I'm right. And don't forget about the bigger picture of the story either, Lucky.
The bigger picture?
Yes, the history part. Geez, you are a terrible storyteller. Here, I will tell it. This area used to be famous for its piers. They had fishing piers, amusement park piers, dance hall piers. You name it, you could do it on our piers. Heck, for a while you could even go bowling or roller skating on this pier. Look it up. Anyway, one by one all those famous piers began to disappear. Venice had a big one. roller coasters, restaurants, and all. Burnt down in 1946, Ocean Park was the most famous one. Always a huge amusement park. Made it into Pacific Ocean Park back in the 50s and 60s. Bankrupt and burnt by 1970. This pier, the Santa Monica Pier, was the last one standing. The only one left, and Scott and his cronies wanted to tear it down. Boos!
Thank you, Diana.
My pleasure, Lucky. You can tell them the rest.
I appreciate that.
But I'll be eavesdropping just in case you screw up.
I appreciate that too. Well, there you have it. Some history. I never was much of a history buff, but she's got it right. Now let's see. We had Colleen running off to find her boyfriend in the Sierra Club, and George rallying up all the businesses, Jack planning, Larry organizing, and everybody else just trying to get the word out. Pretty good stuff.
Excuse me.
Yes?
It's a fine story you're telling there. Real people's story, indeed.
Well, yes, it is a people's story.
Would you mind if we came in with some more background?
It really would be the fair thing to do.
I suppose you're right.
Of course we're right. Well, the government.
Ladies and gentlemen, our city manager, Mr. Scott, and our city councilman, the
Thank you, kind sir. And what a pleasure to have you with us all today. I am here with Mr. Scott, not to defend our decision, but rather to support it with the good reasoning that myself and my fellow council members were elected to execute. You see, the Santa Monica Pier, as wonderful as it has been for several generations now, has simply run its course as far as its value to the city is concerned. It is extremely expensive to maintain, and whatever maintenance we can afford to put into it is never enough. The old structure is decaying more and more every day, and I believe that just a bit ago, I heard someone refer to it as an eyesore.
That was him.
Oh, yes, well, nevertheless, it is true. The old pier has seen better days, and to bring it back up to the stature of its glory days simply does not make economic sense.
But it's the last one of its kind.
That is true, too. But our beach environment, so treasured by so many, must press forward. Perhaps the disappearance of our piers is simply a natural part of evolution. Much like people, our beaches and coastlines should evolve. So, my colleagues and I put the esteemed Mr. Scott here to the task of helping our most cherished natural treasure, our beach, to do just that. Evolve.
Santa Monica has the potential to be one of the most beautiful beach cities in the world. And yet we have this. Why, it's a monstrosity.
But look at all the people that love it.
Oh, sure, the pier may be charming to some folks, to each his own brand of poison. But I wonder how much the tax-paying community is willing to pay for that charm.
It takes quite a lot of tax dollars to maintain a pier.
I have a question.
For me.
For both of you.
Go right ahead and ask.
You brought this island idea to the people a few years ago, correct?
Yes, we did.
We put it on the ballot.
And the people voted against it?
Yes, they did.
So why don't we get to vote on it again?
Oh, well.
Why? If we let the voters decide on every issue, it would be tantamount to anarchy.
Really?
Now, what Mr. Scott means to say here, of course, is that this time it is different.
How so?
When it was on the ballot a few years ago, that was a bond issue. We were asking the citizens to pay for it, and understandably, they refused. However, this time, Mr. Scott has brought in a developer.
Someone to pay for it.
How much?
$60 million.
$60 million? Holy smokes, that must be some island.
Oh, some island indeed.
And you think this is the best thing for Santa Monica?
I most certainly do.
Oh, that's too bad.
How so?
Seems like you got a pretty good fight on your hands.
I sincerely doubt that.
You would be surprised about how welcoming a community can be towards new development, as long as they don't have to pay for it.
Funny thing about surprises, they can be very unpredictable.
Yes, well, we really must be going. Much city business to attend to, right, Mr. Scott?
That is correct.
Oh, I do appreciate your time, all of you. And may you always keep a very special place in your heart for our fine a picket sign. Quaint. But they're never very effective, are they?
And so you can see what we were up against. Anyway, our band of heroes was making really good progress in encouraging people to save the Santa Monica Bay. As the new year approached, we passed Proposition 20. No new development in the bay. Pretty clever, huh? And it didn't stop there. While the island was already approved, we still aimed to fight it. And someone, somehow, someway, someone brought in an important new supporter for the cause, the Sierra Club. Thank you. And there were other allies, like the Los Angeles County Lifeguards and the Western Surfing Association.
Right on. Surfers love the pier.
As 1972 rolled into 1973, about 200 of us showed up at the city council chambers to protest. Too many for the chambers to hold. So the city manager scheduled a big community meeting 2 weeks later in the Civic Center. That place could hold thousands, and we aimed to fill it.
I heard that the state assemblyman's on our side too.
So is the guy he's running against. The island doesn't stand a chance.
The LA Times is loving us. Every day there's a ton of new letters and articles. People are really loving the Pier, guys.
And the smaller papers do too. Have you seen this LA Independent recently? Great writing.
Hey, I reached out to that paper too.
Great work, Sheila.
Oh, and I got the blueprints for the buttons. Has anybody seen the button?
I got it. Here you go.
Thank you, Pat.
Useful new cooking tool.
Making buttons is important stuff, Jack. Hey,
Glad
what are you working on?
Something. Hopefully it'll help.
Guys, I gotta say something. I know this is bad, but I'm really digging it, you know? I mean, for the first time in my life, I'm part of something. We're the greater good, and I'm a part of it!
That's great. Keep up that work.
I will.
You little radical.
Here we go.
Are those the bumper stickers?
Hats off the press.
Oh.
They look amazing. Were they expensive?
Nothing's too expensive for the cause.
And for you, Jack.
What's this?
You said you wanted some colored papers and art pens, correct?
Yes, but I didn't expect you to go out and buy them.
I didn't buy anything. They're from my home. I was always pushing my daughter to be an artist. Loaded up half of my home with art supplies, but she never took to it though.
This is really great, Joan. This will really help.
Everyone's so hard at work.
Eager is a better word
It's
for it.
fantastic. So, who all plans on speaking tonight?
Count me in.
I'll be there. They'll
Right.
let me speak, right?
Of course, why not? They have to let you speak. They have to let us all speak. Have you thought about what you're going to say yet, Jack?
Oh, no.
Oh, you're just gonna wing it?
Nope, I'm not going to be there.
What?
What?
You're not gonna be there?
Well, why not?
It was your idea in the first place.
Yeah, you're the one who said we could fight City Hall.
I did, and you're all doing a fine job at it, but like I said before, I'm a behind-the-scenes guy, a thinker.
What's all this stuff you've been working on?
Some ideas, something for the future.
There isn't going to be a future if we don't win this fight tonight.
That's right.
Jack, we need you.
And you still got me. But tonight it's you. All of you. You're all carrying a spirit that's impossible to beat. And they moved tonight's hearing to a huge venue. They know you're coming in full force. All you have to do is show up. Me? I've been through a lot of battles with a lot of city halls. You don't need me. This is your moment.
It just won't seem right without you there, Jack.
You knew about my past when you hired me.
That's right, I did.
But you hired me anyway as your manager.
It was the best decision I ever made.
What kind of a past?
It doesn't matter now. What matters now is the pier. Hey, Pat, I really love what I see in you. Bursting to make a difference. And that's what this movement needs. If you like, I would love to help you write what you have to say.
Save the pier! 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 Save the pier!
Alas, our big showdown to fight the island was upon us. Over 1,000 of us showed up at the City Hall to speak our piece, some from the podium, others shouting from behind.
All right, Georgie.
Honorably elected councilman, I am a businessman. You know me. We've known each other for many years. And believe me, I get it. We all want a better economic model than what the Santa Monica Pier currently has to offer. But the solution is not a resort island.
No.
The solution is in improving on what we already have. Make the pier better. Forget about the island. Save the pier. Make it better. Save the pier. Make it better. Save the pier. Make it better. Save the pier. Make it better.
Next to speak.
I gotta tell you, I'm confounded. Confounded by what goes through you people's heads. A fancy schmancy island good for all the richy rich folks, right? I know this story. You'll take a perfectly good pier, tear it away, and build a fancy new toy. You've tried this before. I remember. And do you remember what I asked you the last time? Where is your character? What are you trying to turn this city into? Can you answer me that? Confounded. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Shame, shame, shame.
It's quite simple. You see, last November, we voters passed Proposition 20. No more development at the beach.
Yeah.
We the people don't want it.
No, we don't.
Our vote made it crystal clear. Prop 20, save the bay.
Prop 20, save the bay. Prop 20, save the bay. Prop 20, save the bay.
Honorable Councilman, like George here, I too run a business on the pier.
May I ask what business?
I run the bumper cars, sir.
Indeed.
They're very fun. Everybody likes to bump around every once
It's
in
true.
a while.
And it's funny she should say that because, yes, while the pier's not perfect, it's a place that everyone likes.
Well, I don't particularly like it.
Well, yes, we particularly noticed, but did you notice how many people are here tonight? All these people love the pier, am I right? I'll tell you something, buddy. I know a lot of people in this town, and these same people, they don't like this island project idea very much, do they? I mean, look at this place. This place is packed. There are hundreds of people here, thousands of people here for the specific purpose of telling you that we don't want an island in our front yard!
I want to say something. Hi. I'm Pat. I work at the pier down at Al's Kitchen. I just want to say that the pier is really special, you know? It means something. My dad would bring me here, and my granddad would bring me here, and now I come surf here with my buddies, and that's amazing. It's got all this history that's passed on from grandfather to father to son, and one day, if I'm lucky, I'll bring my own kids here. And that's just really cool, you know? And also, save the pier!
Order. Thank you, young man. Now then, this elected body, your city council, has provided a fair hearing on the matter of oceanfront revitalization, and in particular, the island project. I thank you all for your time. Now, we can go on and on ad nauseum about Proposition number 20 and the people's wishes to include the island project into the restrictions therein set forth. However, it is quite clear and has been repeatedly and legally made clear that the island project was signed forth into action well prior to the passage of Prop 20. There is simply no argument relating the island and the people's vote. Having said that, I have a report here from a very well-respected engineering firm that confirms that the existence of the island will create a continuous dredging problem, an expense that makes the island project prohibitively expensive. Taking this information into consideration, I move that the island project be disproved.
Disproved?
What?
No island will be built.
You.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye!
Aye. Moving forward, and as we acknowledged earlier, the mandate of the people regarding development on our beautiful beachfront. Our coastline does have but one significant development blemish remaining upon it, and I propose that we take action to remedy that. I move that the upcoming annual budget include funds for the demolition and removal of the Santa Monica Pier.
What?
All in favor say aye.
No!
Aye. The ayes have it. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
No, we are not.
So moved. Meeting adjourned.
What just happened here? Oh, that memory is too much to bear. All that hard work to win, and then we lose.
I'd rather tell you guys a story, sort of a civics lesson. If there's a sad lesson I've learned in my life, it's that not enough people know their rights. One of my favorites is that if you don't like what your elected leaders are doing, you have guaranteed constitutional rights. Like the right to petition. That one's my favorite. If you don't like what your government is doing, start a petition. Get a bunch of signatures and the government has to listen to you. I love that one. Used it back in 1965. A bunch of rich yacht owners wanted to build a fancy schmancy yacht club at the end of the pier. Take up all our lower fishing deck. City council liked that idea too. So you know what I did? Started a petition. City council saw all the community support I gathered, and do you know what they did? They changed their mind. No more fancy schmancy yacht club. Well, all this tear down the pier nonsense started up. So you know what I did? Started a petition. Because I have the right to. And I'll exercise my rights till the day I die. Petition! Sign the petition!
Ain't she something? I'm sure glad we have her on our side. I sure signed the petition. But Diana did more than just start a petition. She started her own committee, the Save the Santa Monica Pier Citizens Committee. I know, we already had the Friends of the Santa Monica Pier meeting down at Al's, but good ideas are contagious, right? So we had two committees. Now, Diana's committee rallied up all the fishermen on the pier, as well as a lot of the businesses, like the arcade and the restaurants and some of the shops. And throughout it all, each of the committees loved and respected each other, for we all had the same mission, to save the pier.
How about that? One moment we're winning, the island is done for. The next one we've lost. So surreal.
That's life.
That's life.
Yep.
I expected something more poignant coming from you.
Life's surreal. Reality is never what it seems. Someone's high is someone else's low. I mean, stop me before I run out of cliches.
I just feel like we were outsmarted.
We were.
We? You weren't even there, Jack.
Then you were.
Hello, boys. Mind if I join you?
You were the boss. Coffee?
That would be nice, thanks.
Coming right up.
We could have used your savvy last night, Jack.
There's nothing I could have done to change what had happened.
No, I don't suppose there was, but you being there may have softened the blow once we all realized we'd lost the pier.
Oh, we'll save the pier.
Say that again?
How do you figure that?
We keep reaching out. Reach out to the media. Not the local stations. The big boys. The LA Times. You said they love us, Larry.
Yeah, and why stop there? How about radio? How about TV? We can make more buttons, more flyers, and more everything, and we don't stop until we got all of Southern California on board.
That's going to require a lot of money.
But do you think Maynard can afford it?
I hope so.
How much money are we talking about?
I don't know. Could be thousands.
You boys are okay to open without me?
You're taking off?
I forgot to run an errand. I'll be back in a jiffy.
Well, hello there.
Hello, good man. I just came out here today to have a real good look at our coastline. And I must say, the good people of Santa Monica sure were right.
You don't say.
Oh, but I do say. Our beaches are truly spectacular, and they must be saved from the blight of greed and development.
You're right.
After all, imagine how absolutely magnificent it will be once we have cleared the way for 3 continuous miles of pristine beaches. Why, it's like a dream.
Has anybody seen today's paper? I can't seem to find it anywhere.
You didn't have to do that, Joan.
No, it really wasn't.
No, really, I would have taken out a loan against my bumper cars.
Are you kidding? No bank in the world is going to give you credit against a business on a pier that's about to be torn down.
I know, but Joni, your house.
Why did I leave my coffee?
What's going on, you guys?
Joan took out a second mortgage on her house.
Your home?
This coffee is cold.
Joan, when I said we needed money, I didn't expect you to go out and
We've got a hard fight ahead of us, haven't we? Look, I'm not so very young anymore. I'm not so very old either, mind you. But you get to a certain point in your life where you put everything into perspective. I'm not going to own this restaurant forever, and I certainly won't live forever. But this pier, if I can do something for this pier, something to help it survive and make people happy for generations to come, well, that's more important to me than my home. It's more important than me.
We're going to win this fight, Joan.
Right.
I know we are, Jack. Now, can I please have a hot cup of coffee?
Did anyone else read today's newspaper?
Oh, there was this fun little article. Hey, let me see that. It's my paper. Pot Goes the Weasel by Al Martinez. The Santa Monica Pier is a junky jumble of hot dog stands, games, and gaudy trinkets. But there are very few places that offer more inner peace, more soul quiet.
Can I see that?
Soul quiet, man, that's cool.
It's wonderful.
A junky jumble of hot dog stands? I think we're more than that.
Yes, we are.
Sounds a bit negative, doesn't it?
Not necessarily, but it gives me an idea. What do we imagine this pier to be? What would make it special?
Well, it's already special, but I love the inner peace part.
You know what I'd like to see?
What's that?
Concerts. Maybe a bandstand.
Yes.
Oh, I like that idea. How about an art gallery?
Oh, maybe a museum?
Yeah.
Or a movie theater? Or maybe a live theater?
Or a fun zone!
Oh, that's great! Now we're cooking!
We could build a whole new pier!
Not a whole new one, just improve on the one we've already got.
Right.
Now, has anyone seen my notepad?
Oh, so we got some great ideas.
But how's any of that gonna help?
Well, here's the bottom line. There are two issues the city council has with the pier.
One, it's a financial drain. Two, it's an eyesore.
Right.
But what they have is a much more serious problem.
What's that?
A lack of imagination.
They're politicians.
Exactly. Larry, I've got something special for you to take to the meeting.
And they all sat down to work. Jack huddled up with Larry, and everybody really energized. With the next city council meeting just a week away, there wasn't much time.
What you doing?
Calculating.
What you calculating?
None of your business.
I see. Quite a mess swallowing, isn't it?
Oh, are you scared to lose your precious pier?
Not at all. Scared not to?
Not at all.
Well, is that the subtract button?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Perhaps that's where you went wrong.
How so?
Instead of subtracting from the pier, perhaps you should have concentrated on adding to it.
You speak as if you think the pier still has a chance.
I know it does.
It's over, pier lover.
It will be soon, that's for sure.
Oh, never underestimate the power of an intelligent government.
Never underestimate the power of a dedicated community.
Contrarian.
Once again, we gathered at City Hall, about 350 of us this time, to face the dreaded city council. One councilman, McCloskey was his name, he turned out to be on our side, made a motion to save the pier.
Motion denied.
Regular folks like you and me demanded to be heard.
Denied.
This is where Diana took charge.
Gentlemen, I know our rights. We have the right to petition, and you have to accept and review the petition.
You have the right. May we see the petition?
There are over 10,000 signatures there that say you should retract the order to tear down the Santa Monica Pier. 10,000.
Yes. Why? These aren't even certified.
It appears you are correct. This is not a legal petition. Denied.
Come on. That's not fair.
What does that even mean?
It's unconstitutional.
I see we have one final person requesting to speak. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Council. I come before you tonight a humbled man. Humbled yet inspired. You see, like these people gathered here tonight, I love the Santa Monica Pier. It's old, I know. It could use some fixing up. But you see, to me and to a lot of other people in this room and in this community, the pier is like family. You don't just throw away your grandmother because